Blog Talk Radio.
Om Shabbat Shalom, Holy Way of the Most High. Om Shabbat Shalom, I sense your presence. Om Shabbat Shalom, Holy Way of the Most High. Om Shabbat Shalom, I sense your presence. I sense your presence. And I am the light within your soul. In the essence of truth and right, love makes the circle whole. And here we stand in line, waiting for some sacred sign. But to find the balance is the purpose of this time. To restore the balance of the universal mind. And in the presence of my Lord of light and love, everything I see aspiring to be free. And when I call to thee, and come on bended knee, surrender to the all-pervading light and love. Reflections of the one surrounding me with love. And I sense your presence. I sense your presence. I sense your presence. I sense your presence. Within and without, above and below, yeah. East, west, north, and south, I sense your presence. Without and within, below and above, yeah, yeah. East, west, north, and south, I sense your presence. I sense your presence. In the presence of my Lord of light and love, everything I find in tune with the divine. And here we stand in line, waiting for some sacred sign. But to find the balance is the purpose of this time. To restore the balance of the universal mind. And I am the light within your soul. In the essence of truth and right, love makes the circle whole. And when I call to thee, and come on bended knee, surrender to the all-pervading light and love. Reflections of the one surrounding me with love. For to find the balance is the purpose of this time. To restore the balance of the universal mind. And I sense your presence. I sense your presence. I sense your presence. I sense your presence. Om Shabbat Shalom, Holy Way of the Most High. Om Shabbat Shalom, I sense your presence. Om Shabbat Shalom, Holy Way of the Most High. Om Shabbat Shalom, I sense your presence. Om Shabbat Shalom, Holy Way of the Most High. Om Shabbat Shabbat Shalom, holy angel of the Most High. Om Shabbat Shalom, I sense your presence. I sense your presence.
Hi, today we are looking at 3 ways to honor your spiritual path. The first one we are going to look at today is about taking time to interact with others of like mind. Now, of course, on a day-to-day basis, we have friends and online social media connections. However, it is important to really reach beyond that in a way that you can immerse yourself fully with others. A weekend spiritual retreat is a great way to do this. Earth Goddess Rising is an opportunity to do just that. Connect with others growing in their spiritual path. To find out more about this weekend, designed to reawaken and celebrate your inner goddess, go to www.earthgoddessrising.com. Stay tuned for tips 2 and 3. Thank you for joining me here tonight on Activating Compassion in the Midnight Hour. My name is Jessie Ann Nichols George, and I'm your hostess this evening. The music you were listening to there at the beginning of the show is I Sense Your Presence. It's by Shemshai. And I just want to extend a welcome to everybody that's out there listening today and that's with us, whether you're returning and or whether you're joining us for the very first time. We are now streaming live in 3 additional places besides Blog Talk Radio. We're on TalkStream Live, StreamFinder, and Penn, also known as Para Encounters Network. And I welcome everyone listening there through those channels as well. I also appreciate tonight's sponsor, Earth Goddess Rising Festival, and you can learn more about what is going on there with them at www.earthgoddessrising.com. Here at Activating Compassion in the Midnight Hour, I look at different ways that compassion exists in our lives, how to remove our blocks, resistances, frustrations, and more. Some weeks I'm looking at discussing different aspects of how compassion is in our life, how it affects our life, and the different areas of compassion. And some weeks I'm doing more exercises, practical implementations, and most of the time I've got great, fantastic guests on the show. And, of course, tonight's no exception. Michelle Mayur is with us tonight, and you've got some great things to look forward to in the work that she's going to be sharing with us. And I also highlight different musical artists along the way. Stephen Halpern, Peter Cater, both have been on the show last year. I'm working on some names equally up there this year as well, so I'll be happy to bring those to you as soon as we get those finalized in for details. In my own work, I focus on helping people find and use compassion in their everyday lives. I've created the Genesis Clearing Statement, and if you've missed that, you can actually go back and catch that in our archives. And I've authored 4 books. The most recent are You, Me, Life, Dreams, and also its companion workbook, and then my first 2 books, Activating Compassion and its companion workbook. In addition, I've created the Compassion Tour, multi-state nationwide tour, including workshops, retreats, seminars, book signings, and fundraising events, and you can follow all of the events available to register for on the Compassion Tour and other live events through jessieannnicholsgeorge.eventbrite.com. And just a reminder, if you enjoy the show this evening, make certain that you tell your friends, your family, share it out there on the social media, because I'm always finding when I share something out there, inevitably there's somebody in that list that sees it that really needed to know it. And you never know who's going to be helped by this show tonight. So, feel free to share it and get it out there. They can also listen to it in the archives coming in through the same link you used, or they can go to my website, jessieannnicholsgeorge1.com, and go to my page under the Main Street Universe tab, and I keep all my archive shows there as well. In addition to that, they can get it as a podcast at iTunes as well as tunein.com. So, and then one more option, they can find it on my YouTube channel. It'll be posted there sometime tomorrow after the show. So lots of options for catching it. Now, before we get started here, those that have listened to the show before know that I like to delve into the 72 Names of God by Yehuda Berg. And Yehuda is a great Kabbalah master, and I love his work because he takes it and he puts it in these everyday languages. He takes the big concepts and brings it down where it really applies into our own life. So I'm going to take a look and see what we've got here tonight for his message. And his message tonight is time travel. And I think this is actually going to be pretty interesting, given our guest and given the astrological influences that we have going on right now. And let's see, the message with this is when we want to undo past crimes in order to banish their painful effects from our lives and the lives of others, this name provides us with an ingenious time travel device. Forget the Dramamine. This flight happens on a soul level. Are you ready? Fasten your seatbelt. And the insight he provides here is, science says that for every action there is an equal and opposite reaction. For every cause there is an effect. But in the physical world there is always an interval of time between an action and its result. Time is the distance between cause and effect. Time is the space between crime and consequence. Time is the gap between good deed and dividend. The chain of cause and effect could be 10 minutes, 10 days, 10 months, or even 10 lifetimes. Nevertheless, the effects of our behavior come back to us in full measure. We believe mistakenly that good is unrewarded, that evil goes unpunished, and that life lacks true justice. Why? Because the memory of our positive and negative actions fades over time, and when their delayed effects appear, we see them as simply random events. What's more, unkind words also set the cause and effect principle into motion. So how do we return to the original cause before its nasty effects show up in our lives? The technology for this exists in this unique name. Long ago, Kabbalists declared that time travel was possible. Today, quantum physicists are catching up to Kabbalah by acknowledging that time travel is achievable, at least in theory. But Kabbalah doesn't say we will physically rocket back in time to encounter our own self face-to-face. That's an intriguing concept. But here we achieve an objective far more dazzling than the notion of having lunch with ourselves somewhere in the past. What is that objective? How about unimaginable joy and fulfillment? Once we correct all the negative actions of our past. And the meditation he gives with us is, awaken remorse in your heart for prior misdeeds. Accept the frank spiritual truth that problems in your life are the result of past actions. Concentrating on this name will now uproot the negative seeds you've already planted. In doing so, you transform your past, reshape the present, and assure yourself a future full of joy and fulfillment. And I find this interesting with all the influences that we have going on right now, the Saturn influences, where that's going to be going retrograde early March, and all the other ones. This is a great time for us to do this clearing. And the way that this name is pronounced, time travel is the common name, but it's also pronounced Vav He Vav. And this is going to be up on my page on the Main Street Universe tab, by the way. I usually get that up within an hour after the show, so you can check that out if you'd like to go back and reflect on it during the week. So, little message from Yehuda, very appropriate to what we have going on right now. And this is just a little lead-in here now for leading up to what our topic is tonight. Do you go through heartbreak before listening to your heart? What does it take to transcend the issues of a heavy heart? Are energetic blocks in the heart what truly disconnects us from the divine and embracing a life full of joy? We tend to be quite familiar with heartbreak as a personal relationship concern. However, what if our heartbreak was really a disconnect from our feminine energy, from caring about what we truly need to be giving to ourselves instead of taking from someone else? It is common to experience a heavy heart when we are resisting something, holding on to what is energetically blocking us, or not honoring what will bring inner peace and soulful nurturing. We seem to hold on to these toxic blocks and emotions like holding on to a toxic diet. When the body becomes toxic, the mind is convinced that it needs to continue eating toxic foods to survive. When our emotions and blocks become toxic, often because we aren't taking better care of ourselves, we continue to choose situations that are toxic and abusive, leading us to believe that we are happier being disrespected and living as a victim than branching out on our own a bit. Every day I come across people that have convinced themselves they are in a loving space, when they are living in toxic thoughts and emotions. Yet when people make the breakthrough, much like detoxing the physical body, they find so much more energy in life. The toxic emotions, like toxic food, convinces us that we are not worthy of divine love and presence, that we are not able to obtain a true and wondrous life, that we are not allowed to enjoy such incredible love from ourselves and others. It is said that the heart chakra is the gateway to the divine, the bridge between heaven and earth, the key to unlocking the greatest of blessings there is to explore, our heaven on earth. Michelle Mayur has channeled and brought forth a healing modality related to the energy of Egypt and Isis, which she calls the Isis healing of love. It is designed to help our heart chakra release the toxic blocks and emotions that our human aspect tries to hold on to. It provides the opportunity for us to experience the divine, feminine presence of Isis energy in our life, that of inner strength and innate healing abilities. This seems to be a very balanced energy aspect to me, where the masculine and the feminine aspects are working in harmony with each other. Oftentimes, it is fear that keeps us from releasing these blocks, fear of the unknown, fear of getting hurt, fear of being vulnerable, and more. Yet the pain, to me, seems much harsher to deal with than facing the fears. I suppose, like many things, when our desire to be without the pain and to love grows greater than our fears, then we shall progress and meet the responsibilities of what we need to do. How have you released blocks and toxins of the heart? How much do you hold on to, which then holds you back? What are you doing to create a healthy diet of feelings, emotions, and honoring your heart? This week, our guest focuses on a component of compassion that is related to the aspect in my books of seeing with your heart. This reminds us that our heart is ready to bring us an abundance of joy if we are willing to let go of our pain. I'm going to take a short break, and when we return, I will have Michelle Mayur with us, and she's going to be sharing her work in helping people release toxic emotions with her Isis Love Healing. And the song that I have tonight for you during the break is called Listen to Me. It's by Claire Hedin. And if you missed the show I did with Claire, you can certainly catch that in the archive. And if you'd like to find out more about her work or connect more with her music, you can do so at www.clairehedin.com. That's CLAREHEDIN.com. I believe that's also at the bottom of our show description for you. We'll be back shortly.
So you walk down the aisle, books on each side, and you know that you are waiting for just one to catch your eye, and then you'll look through its pages. What will you find? Oh, the answers to the questions that keep spinning through your mind. Well, never you mind, you'll seek what you find, 'cause the universe is listening to your mind. Listen to me. Answers everywhere, and you sit at a table in a room with a view, and as you look out the window, your life looks back at you. You stop for a moment. What are you to do? Did anyone ever really tell you that your life would look at you? Well, never you mind, you'll seek what you find, 'cause the universe is listening to your mind. Listen to me. Turn on the TV and your room is filled with stars. You will see exotic lifestyles, envy brand new cars, and then you start dreaming you want it to be yours. One minute you were happy, perhaps it's in a church where you seek your solitude, and if not, the voice of God can reach you through the Christian tune. The church is in your living room as well as on your street. You see, the gods are pretty versatile, with the voice of man they speak. If you choose me, you'll be complete. I am the universe, so listen as I speak. Listen to me, listen to me, listen to me. Listen to me, listen to me, listen to me. I will set you free. Set you free. You see answers everywhere, answers that you seek there in those passing conversations in books and films that we might see. We're not short of answers, it's the questions that we need. You see, the questions are the gateways, the things that set us free. Ask the right questions and you'll see that the universe is listening as we speak. Listen to me. Answers everywhere.
Now for our second tip on honoring your spiritual path. Many people worry about spending money on themselves and fall into guilt trips of doing something solely for them. Yet, what if doing something for yourself allowed you to give so much more to others? When we continue to grow and develop ourselves, we also give others around us the opportunity to develop further and grow with us. What greater gift can you give than to evolve yourself and others in divine grace? Earth Goddess Rising is led by teachers, healers, yogis, and guest speakers, and fueled by organic foods. Find out more about how you can reconnect and strengthen with the divine at www.earthgoddessrising.com. Stay tuned for tip number 3. Welcome back. You are listening to Activating Compassion in the Midnight Hour. My name is Jessie Ann Nichols George, and I'm your hostess this evening. And the song you were just listening to is called Listen to Me by Claire Hedin. Again, you can look up her music and her work at www.clairehedin.com. That's CLAREHEDIN. And again, a special thanks to our sponsor tonight, Earth Goddess Rising. And now I'd like to bring on my guest tonight, Michelle Mayur. She is a channel for the divine feminine energies of love and the visionary founder of the Heal the Healer global community of healers and light workers with members from over 100 countries. In partnership with the divine, she co-creates powerful energetic shifts, helping people to transcend their issues, limiting beliefs and energetic blockages, and to raise their vibration. Michelle has a particular affinity to ancient Egypt and the goddess Isis, and is progressively remembering her healing skills from lifetimes as an Isis high priestess, which she is now adapting for our current healing needs and for Mother Earth. In 2012, she received the High Vibration Isis Healing of Love Energy Healing System for personal and planetary healing as a powerful energetic download from the higher realms, and now teaches the system widely. We look at her work tonight in Isis Love Healing, and you can learn more about Michelle's work at www.heal-the-healer.com. And I'm going to go ahead and get her microphone to open up here tonight. Welcome to Activating Compassion in the Midnight Hour, Michelle.
It's my pleasure to be here, Jessie. Thank you for inviting me.
I'm so glad to have you here, and I always get so excited when I have people calling in from all over the world. So for our listeners, Michelle is calling in from Australia. Quite a ways. It's a whole different day over there for her already. So it's just wonderful to have you here.
Thank you. Yes, I'm calling in from Melbourne, and it's late Saturday afternoon here. So we're already out of Valentine's Day. I had a very nice one, though, yesterday.
Wonderful. And we were talking about this when we were talking about the show, like that this is just the most perfect timing for doing your work, with it being the full moon and Valentine's Day, and it just all, in fact, I was doing a course earlier and I was referring to this. I was like, you know what, I'm not going to call this the snow moon. I'm going to call it the Isis moon this time around.
That's cute. I like that. Yeah, when we made this date, what was it, about November of last year, we hadn't even made the connection that there was actually going to be a full moon as well. So Isis being a moon goddess as well as the universal mother goddess, it's very, very timely. And I love doing full moon meditations under the full moon with Isis. Unfortunately, last night I missed out because we've had very bad bushfires around the Melbourne area, so we've had a lot of smoke haze, so I couldn't see the full moon at all, but I know the energies are still very strong.
Definitely it is. Well, Michelle, maybe you could start off with sharing a little bit with our listeners about your background and how you came to receive the Isis activation of the healing heart.
Sure, it'd be a pleasure to, Jessie. Well, I mean, I've been a healer now for 19 years, so that's quite a long time, and I'm not going to bore you with all of that long journey. But I think the last few years have been particularly interesting. As you mentioned, I have had a close affinity with ancient Egypt for a very long time. In fact, it feels like it's my soul home. I used to run annual spiritual Egypt tours each year, and I would take groups of very talented healers with me, and we would work up through the temple system and the pyramids and the Sphinx and so on, doing activation work and also going through our own process of initiation at each of the various places that we visited. And in one of the journeys in particular, this one stood out, I think, above all others as being exceptional. In 2007, I had a very, very talented group of healers with me, and a lot of beautiful divine synchronicities happened. So, for instance, the guide that we had for our tour, which had just been one randomly chosen by the travel agency I was working with, his brother was the chief inspector on the Giza Plateau. So a little bit of negotiation, and our group finished up with the entire Giza Plateau, and that's where all the pyramids are, or the main pyramids, the Sphinx, that's where they are. And we had all the pyramids, the Sphinx, the entire area to ourselves for 2 whole hours. Now that is unheard of. In fact, there was a lot of talk amongst the guards and things who guard the perimeter of the Giza Plateau. You know, who are these people? Are they royalty? Is it, you know, a president? What's happening? You know, how come this whole area is closed for this time? Because normally it's absolutely crawling with thousands and thousands of tourists all jostling, you know, to get a good vantage point. So we were absolutely blessed, but it seems we had very powerful work to do there as well. So we were all doing our thing, so to speak, inside the King's Chamber of the Great Pyramid. And, you know, some of the healers were very good at crystal grid work. Others were energy channelers. Some were toning Syrian light language. There was just an amazing array of talent there. So the energy went up so incredibly high. It was as if our collective nervous system just went flying, and everything just blew apart. So after that, we were all pretty much non-functional for several weeks after that, while we were being recalibrated from the ground up energetically. So that, for me and everybody else who attended that, was a very significant turning point in all our different ways. So I came back to Melbourne, and I knew that I was on this planet to do something far greater than I'd ever allowed before. And the problem was I didn't know what it was. So I was, I guess, experimenting with, well, maybe I was supposed to learn a new modality and this or that. And so I was experimenting with different things, trying to find out, well, what is it that, I'm actually supposed to be doing now with the rest of my healing work? And I really wasn't being given any guidance, and I went down a lot of blind alleys. I was getting more and more burnt out and exhausted in the process, and finally, welcome relief. I slipped in my kitchen and broke my shoulder and made quite a mess of it. And, being a healer, you've got this bit of ego thing happening. Oh, yeah, a few sessions, you'll be able to fix it. That'll be fine. No, didn't work that way. It wasn't so simple. Lots of other people worked on me. It wasn't so simple for them either. So I had quite a bad injury to my shoulder for quite a long time. It's absolutely fine now, no problems. But it basically gave me the opportunity to stop spinning my wheels and doing all that stuff that was just not in alignment with what the divine had in store for me. So anyway, I started off, I got this idea, a bit of a joke at first of, healer, heal thyself, and then that sort of morphed into heal the healer. And then I thought, yeah, that sounds like a really good idea. Let's, work to help healers fast track their own spiritual growth, the development of their businesses and so on, learning from all the years of mistakes that I made and, gradually learning through trial and error what worked and what didn't work in terms of healing and building a business. So anyway, that's started off okay. That's what's developed into the Heal the community of healers and light workers. It's sort of had a shift over the last couple of years in particular. I've had a whole lot of my own healing gifts opening up even more, which has been amazing and wonderful and fantastic, and I feel so blessed. So I've moved perhaps more now into working one-on-one with people or small groups anywhere around the world. So I do a lot of consultations via Skype, also international phone hookup, and get amazing results. I work very closely with the angelic realms. They often take over and basically work through me to do the work. So I'm just holding the space for the work to be done. I see quite clearly what's happening, and the people I work with feel usually quite strongly what's happening as well. And Isis is always right in there as well. So I work very closely with Isis, and I also work very closely with the angels, and they're not separate. They actually blend and dovetail into each other really beautifully. So the last couple of years too, I've been going through a process of purification probably for a long time, and that's, as you were talking about before, Jessie, physical, watching what I was eating, detoxing the physical body, spending more time in nurturing situations, connecting more with nature, working through clearing negative beliefs, self-talk, etc., etc. So some of that was quite conscious, but a lot of it I was being led through a process by the divine. For instance, in Bali, and I've done a few trips to Bali over the last couple of years, each time I go, there seem to be little events and circumstances set up that are purification ceremonies that I'm taken through, often as the only Westerner there, so I always feel deeply honoured with that. So that's been really interesting. And then back in early 2012, I was just, I do a lot of meditation. That's part of my daily spiritual discipline. And I was just doing one of my meditations with no particular intent. And I started feeling these hands being placed on me and energy shifting where the hands were being placed on me. Now, these were hands of energy, hands of light. They weren't physical hands. But it seemed to be very systematic. There seemed to be a real order and structure to how this was being done. And when it was complete, I had the most amazing clearing take place. It triggered something very deep and very profound. I was asking, what is this? What is this that I'm receiving now? And I was told by Isis what this was, and I was told how I was to use it. And I said, well, I'm not quite sure if I've got the hand sequence right or not. Can we please go through this again? Can you please show me again? And this time I'll write it down. So we did, and it was exactly as I remembered it the first time. So I worked with that for a while, and I was also told that this would be the lead in, like the activation, to, or initiation into, a new energy healing system that was to come through me later on. And on one of the trips to Bali, when I was just sitting randomly waiting for my lunch to be served in an open-air restaurant, and I hadn't been drinking or smoking anything or doing anything like that, I just suddenly got this enormous warmth of energy come through my crown chakra that sent me literally spinning. It was just as if I was being tossed around on an ocean. Everything was sort of in waves and moving around, and I felt all of this come through as pure energy, and I thought, whoa, I don't know what that was, but that was huge. And gradually over the next several weeks, it started to come up to conscious awareness as an understanding of what it was and what I was to do with it, how I was to put it together. And hence that it was how the Isis Healing of Love system developed. And that's what I'm focusing on teaching now, both in workshops, giving people one-on-one Isis activations, and also now I've taken this whole system online, so it doesn't matter where you are in the world, you can learn how to do this system really quite simply. So I guess that's where I'm at now.
And I think that's exciting. One thing that you kind of have with your work that I tend to do, and I see it with a lot of people that are working at high vibrational levels, is this shifting and changing in the work, this being receptive, that no matter how long you've been doing work, that you're getting these downloads and you're getting, that work, and you're kind of always moving and shifting your focus into these different areas as they come in. And it's not that other things are outdated or not usable, it's just the focus shifts, it seems like, from time to time. And I notice that in my own work as well with that. So you talk about, this system really being different from maybe some other forms of energy healing. So how does this differ from, say, like Reiki or quantum healing or something like that? And what are the main benefits somebody's going to see from Isis healing?
Okay, well, look, I'm a Reiki master, I'm a Seishin master, I'm a Chem master, so I've done a whole lot of different forms of channeled energy work. In fact, that's really what started me on my healing journey. I just took to it like a duck to water. With a lot of those systems, which have been absolutely amazingly marvelous over a long period of time, and I'm certainly not knocking them in any way, shape or form, because they are still very, very relevant for people working at a specific vibration. But those systems, especially as you got to the higher levels of those systems, they tended to rely on learning complex lots of symbols to be used for specific purposes and complex procedures. The Isis Healing of Love system is very, very different in that regard. To actually learn the system, it's not complex at all. There are only 3 basic symbols that you use, and they're all things that you would have from your everyday experience anyway. There's nothing weird and wonderful that looks like, Chinese characters or anything like that you have to learn. So it's simple in that sense. What is very significant is that you have to be attuned to be able to hold the very high frequency energy. It's the frequency of the energy, this divine feminine energy, that is what creates the healing. It's not you being in, a partially mind state thinking, oh, well, I've got to use the Honsha session then here, or we should do a Seheki there, or, whatever it is that you're doing. So this is simple. It's to be able to do it, you do need to be quite disciplined and focused, and to be able to hold the energy. So if you're just entering the world of energy healing, maybe, better start off with Reiki or something just to start off. But for those who've especially done energy healing work before, or who feel that they're ready to shift to a much higher vibration, this is absolutely perfect. There's an incredibly sacred feel to it, the real energy of the divine coming through. And, like for instance, this morning I was doing an Isis self-healing, and I'm feeling the tears just running down my cheeks, and it's not because of bringing up old emotional trauma or anything. It's just this feeling of overwhelming love and connection to the divine, and that's what brings up the tears. So there's a very sacred feel. The more you use it, the more you, I guess, get into the rhythm of it, and it's got this real feel of a flowing, graceful dance, like the dance of a very elegant woman. Isis, and Isis is depicted with these beautiful wide wings, sometimes white, sometimes gold, and she is very, very elegant. There's this really beautiful energy that comes through. She's also, we mentioned before, she's a moon goddess. She's also the universal mother goddess, and there are many, many goddesses in different pantheons around the world. Isis is particular. In fact, she's told me in meditation that she actually wants me to call her, and I do call her this now when I talk to her privately. I call her Mother Isis. Her energy is very, very nurturing. It's the energy of a mother looking after her child, really nurturing her child. So there's great compassion, great love, and this just really flows through. The other thing I've found too, working with this system, and this is perhaps a slightly technical thing, is that whereas in other systems where you finish doing the healing, especially if you're working with somebody else and even on yourself, there may be a little bit of energetic residue sitting around that really needs to be cleared rather than just sort of, sitting in your energy field. I found with the Isis healing system that there is no energetic residue that gets left over when you've done the full healing system. It just, everything is totally cleared at the time. So that is something that's quite unique to this, and it's also pretty beautiful. That there is this sense of really just needing to bring to the planet now a much higher vibration energy healing systems that cater to the number of people on the planet who are spiritually awake. They're ready for this. They're hungry for this. And more people are waking up every day and choosing to live more consciously so that they're living, their lifestyle choices are more in harmony with each other and for the benefit of the planet, rather than just being hooked into that Western cultural norm of sort of avarice and overconsumption and just depleting the planet's resources without any consideration whatsoever. So people who are really living consciously now and who are waking up spiritually are ready for much higher vibration and much more powerful ways of healing that will bring more love, more compassion, and more cooperation back to Mother Earth and her inhabitants. So really balancing the male-female energies on the planet, not only on the planet but within each one of us. So I like to think of this as next generation energy healing. And I feel that it's like I've been given this as a gift from Isis. I feel incredibly honoured and blessed and blissed and everything. And sometimes I say, why me? Why did you choose me? And obviously I spent 20 years in preparation for this. So, okay, so some of the, and there really is a potential for a quantum shift. It's not something where, you make slow progress inch by inch using the system. If you're ready for it, you can just basically transcend your issues in a flash. It's like you just look down to where you were before, to what you were so hooked into and stressed about and everything else. And it's like there's no energetic charge anymore. You've just transcended it. You've just moved a quantum shift up to a higher level. So that's one of the real beauties. Some people may find it more challenging, but for those who are really ready to move, you can just transcend your issues just in a flash. And I've done that in a number of things. Not everything. Still working on a few things, but definitely some issues. It's just not even on the radar, not interested. Gee, was I really worried about that? Why? It's that kind of feeling. So some of the benefits I guess I've been alluding to anyway is that it really opens and clears the heart to much deeper levels than anything else that you're likely to experience. Can even be working with the energy of past life memories, which I find I seem to be doing a lot with healers who've done a lot of their own spiritual development work already. it really opens you up so that your heart can both give and receive love while you're just having these blissful experiences of receiving love from the divine as part of the healing. So when our energy systems are clearer and more balanced, we're just naturally in a position to better deal with situations and circumstances that otherwise we might perceive as a stress. And, you know, we're talking about Valentine's Day today, and that includes romantic relationships. I find a lot of the time when we're working with this that people get very rapid shifts. So where people have been stuck in a situation, say a toxic situation, a toxic relationship, a toxic work environment, even a toxic home, something will come up, maybe not pleasant initially, but something will come up very quickly to shift the energy around that so that it frees that person from the toxic things in their life to move forward. That's very, very common. Also get a lot of divine synchronicities that happen as people's vibration is raised through using this Isis healing system. So you tend to draw to you those people, the situations, the resources that you need for the next stage of your journey. Rather like me just, you know, manifesting that amazing divine synchronicity of the whole Giza Plateau to our group for 2 hours. Wow. And when you're in space of expanded higher consciousness that you get from doing the Isis work, you're just able to look at situations and challenges from a new, higher perspective so that you can resolve situations more easily if you haven't already transcended them. I love Einstein's quote, and it's, you can't solve a problem at the same level of consciousness that created it. So part of the Isis work is just lifting you up to higher levels of consciousness. What else is there? It's also of benefit too because you can use this, you know, purely for your own self-healing. It's absolutely wonderful. You may like to just have the activation and not learn the full healing system. That's fine too, but you can learn at least to do the self-healing. That gives you a really amazing tool that you can use regularly to get profound shifts happening in your life. And because it's very powerful work, you probably only need to do it, say, I don't know, maybe say 2, maximum 3 times a week, even, 10, 15 minutes at a time is ample. It's not making a huge commitment, but it does get shifts very, very quickly. And if you are already an energy healer and you're seeing clients, you can integrate the Isis healing with other things that you're doing. Actually, you don't even need to be an energy healer. You can be any kind of practitioner, and this will dovetail nicely into what you're doing. It doesn't give you as powerful benefits as if you use it as a complete standalone and do the full Isis healing of love procedure as a standalone. That's when you get the totally awesome results. But sometimes the people, it's like they just need that little bit of comfort and, security while they're getting familiar with the Isis healing to just, add a little bit into what they're already doing and then eventually get to that level of confidence that with certain clients who are already at a high vibration that they're, this is perfect for them to get a very, very clear shift. When I do this work with people, when I work and give someone an Isis healing, whether it's via Skype or on phone or in my consulting rooms in Melbourne, I just see the person light up energetically inside. There's this massive, intense light on the key areas that we work on through the Isis healing, and then also it just flows and lights up the whole body, and that flows out into the energy field. So it's just amazing to look at, and I just love working with it.
Now, you just mentioned the key areas for using the system. What are the key areas that the system works on?
Okay, first of all, it starts off with the activation. Obviously, if you're receiving just a full healing session from someone else, you don't need to have the activation first. But if you personally want to use this system to channel the divine feminine energy of Isis, or just call it the divine feminine energy, you don't have to have a particular belief set in Isis or goddesses or whatever else. That's not essential. When you're channeling that energy, I just had a slight seniors moment. The key areas when you're using the energy with other people, the key areas that you will be working on, the chakra systems, but it also includes the thymus gland chakra, which is something that is usually overlooked. In fact, we don't really need to talk about the chakra system at all, but because most people are familiar with that, it's an easy way of identifying the key areas where the Isis system works. It also includes activation work to open the palms of the hands, to open the soles of the feet, so that wherever you connect with Mother Earth, or, whoever you touch, that also receive healing. So it's very beautiful in that sense. It also works very at pineal gland, which helps you to open up to more of your psychic awareness, open up to more of your healing gifts, and really just help you to shift into a much deeper connection with the divine. So the work is helping you to move progressively into deeper connection with the divine, as well as staying well connected to Mother Earth. So you really like that energetic bridge between the higher realms and Mother Earth.
Okay, perfect. Because, and that's a lot of different things that it actually covers with that. Which is wonderful, and we think of the hands and the feet, as you mentioned, as they're really big portals. Everything in our body is running through our hands and our feet, so everything is really being affected through those particular avenues. Now, Michelle, why do you think it's so difficult for people to receive love? Even including self-love. It's hard for us to receive love from ourselves. It's hard for us to receive love from others. Why do you think that is?
Just a quick question for you, Jessie. How much longer do we have today? I mean, this could actually take up an entire workshop very easily, or a book. There's a lot of information here, so I'll try and sort of keep it down to the main categories, for me and what I've found over the years of working with clients, and also with myself. I'm as much in this as anybody else is. So the first thing is, in order to truly love another unconditionally, first of all, you have to love yourself. You can't suddenly, you can't bypass not loving yourself and think that you're somehow going to feel marvelous about yourself just because you put all your energy into loving someone else. So the very first thing that you need to do, the prerequisite to having a loving, caring, supportive person as your partner, is that you need to love yourself. And this can be really difficult for people because, for a start, we've got this whole, cultural/religious indoctrination that goes down through many, many generations, that it's better to give than to receive, and that it's selfish to consider acts of self-love as even being important. Like, how dare you put yourself first? And this, of course, is obviously something we need to do. We need to put ourselves first to both express our own needs to others and to meet our own needs. We need to be leading by example, so to speak, meeting our own needs. And then we will attract someone into our life who picks up that vibration, who picks up the vibration of, us being loving, compassionate people towards ourselves with open hearts. And then that's the kind of person we attract to us, rather than someone who is being drawn into the energy of, a closed heart, frightened to be vulnerable, frightened to love, that kind of thing, scared of commitment, because guess what will draw to us if that's the vibration we're carrying? We'll draw someone to us who's also vibrating that same energy. Just going back before to the cultural and religious indoctrination, this is especially for females who are traditionally viewed as nurturers, as givers, of giving of their energy, of giving of their time, of not wanting to receive back. So for a lot of women in particular, it's really difficult to receive the kind of love that they want because they haven't been used to receiving much of anything in many aspects of their life. I guess that's, that sort of cliche about reclaiming your inner goddess kind of thing, which is absolutely not where I'm at with this Isis healing. This is on a whole different vibrational level to that. There can be many subconscious ways which we close down our heart center as well. And often our sacral area, which is the area that's concerned with relationships. And we do this usually subconsciously so that we avoid being emotionally hurt again, especially in relationships. And this closes down our ability to both give and receive love. So in the short term, it might be okay just to, pull back a bit and just temporarily close the heart chakra or the sacral chakra, just to give ourselves a little bit of breathing space. And then, they need to be open and functioning so we can attract to us those people that we need who will support us on our journey, whether romantically or otherwise. But for most people, once the heart and the sacral area close down, that's it. They stay closed down until work is done on them to release that so people feel safe enough to begin to open up to love. So there are many, many reasons that we can close down our heart center. Can be caused by past relationships and such things as betrayal, breaking of trust, physical or emotional abuse, control or manipulation, even being ripped off by your partner financially or going through a nasty divorce or separation, or even, as was the case with me, the death of my partner. That all happened very suddenly. He had a stroke. He was overseas when he died, and he died on our daughter's 7th birthday. So, for me, that was something that was just so whoa. I really couldn't process that. I felt completely numb. I shut down. I finished up in hospital a couple of weeks later with severe pneumonia that nearly took me out completely. Because I had no way of processing it. It was complete overload. So that shut me down. It actually took quite a while to start to open up again after that experience, along with a whole of other things that also happen around about that same time. As you do tend to get these clusters. Closing down of the heart doesn't necessarily need to be purely from relationships. It can be, in your workplace, for instance, such as not feeling respected or being sabotaged in your work or being bullied or, even people making fun of you behind your back. There's also betrayal by your sometimes family members, friends and other people that you trust that can close your heart down. And the obvious one, too, is I mentioned, my soulmate before who passed away, but the death of other loved ones in your experience, such as family members, friends, especially pets for animal lovers, and even having a miscarriage or an abortion or stillbirth. These are all very traumatic things which can close down the heart center. And, of course, most people don't have any conscious knowledge that that's happened, but it really interferes with their life and the quality of their life while the heart is closed down. The other thing, too, which is really interesting, and people who are trained in hypnotherapy and NLP and everything will probably already be aware of this, but for everyone else, there's often a deep subconscious feeling of not feeling worthy enough to receive love or not good enough to receive love. Actually, I'll just quote something that just came to me on Facebook just an hour before I started this interview, or we started the interview, and I thought it was so timely, so I just scribbled it down, and it's a beautiful picture, and it says, Happy Valentine's Day from Billy. When you're born, you forget your magnificence and think you have to earn the right to be loved. How can you earn what already belongs to you? And I think that's so beautiful, and I think that's just a timely reminder for everyone. So basically, most of us pre-age 5, when we just soak up everything in our environment as truth, just soaking it up like a sponge, we have all these things that we're flooded with, all these sensory things that often quite innocent things, like an innocent remark your parents might have said to you, will just plant that seed that, oh, he doesn't think I'm any good. There's something wrong with me. I'm defective. What's wrong with me? I'm not right. I'm not good enough. And that seed gets planted. Sometimes parents can just say something in absolute frustration, and I'm sure any parents on the call, such as me, will have had plenty of times where you say something that then you regret it later to your kids, but they just pushed and pushed and pushed, and enough was enough, and something slips out. Especially with a young child, if they do that, they take that on as truth. An older child will often be able to dismiss that, but a younger child will take that on board as truth. So there's a lot of early childhood programming that's to blame for poor self-esteem and low self-worth that prohibits us from really receiving love the way we should. In fact, a colleague of mine who specializes in self-esteem, Dr. Joe Rubino, he claims that 85% of people have poor self-esteem and low self-worth. So that's actually really a staggering amount, and most of that's come in early childhood. Teachers at school, just through the marking system, can imply that someone's not good enough when they're not getting good marks, or they may actually say that outright, or why don't you concentrate more in class, or whatever the things are that are putting someone down, that are eroding their self-esteem, that are putting more and more messages in that that person is somehow defective or not good enough. There's some insidious things too, which I come across quite frequently from parent or with clients that have been instilled by parents, such things as they were always comparing me to my brother, who was so bright or so good at sport, and I was so terrible, and it really hurt me. Or they were saying how fat and ugly I was, but they were saying how beautiful my sister was. Or one which is really incredibly hurtful, which people or babies will feel still while in utero, is that they were an accident, that they weren't wanted, but the parents felt they had to have you anyway. That's very, very insidious, and that really just sets in place that pattern of being unloved and unlovable. You can also absorb fears and attitudes and beliefs directly from the mother in utero. So it's very possible just to absorb her stuff, her poor self-esteem, her fears, and you just absorb that like a sponge and take that on as you're not good enough, you're not lovable enough, when it's actually your mother's stuff. Parents too, parents have got their own pain, their own stuff they're trying to deal with. So, parents can be just naturally cold or appear to be cold. They might be controlling. They might be struggling with their own pain, that they're unavailable emotionally. So that, once again, instills in the child that somehow they're not worthy of love. They're not worthy of receiving love, because if they were, then their parents will be loving them. Their parents will be hugging them. Their parents will be showing them affection, but their parents aren't. There's also childhood abuse, which can be physical and emotional. And insidiously, there can be a hidden shame that we carry, then feelings of self-blame and guilt about the people and the circumstances in our life, that an emotional trauma that we've had, that somehow we did something, that we deserved this trauma that we went through. So therefore we're not good enough. Therefore we're not worthy enough. Once again, getting back to Therefore, we're not lovable. Therefore, we're not worthy of love. So, many, many, many ways in which we block ourselves from receiving love.
I think you touched on some really great things when you were talking about that people don't ordinarily think about. They think of some of the standard things like, well, I've had bad luck in relationships, or, well, I do have some self-esteem issues, but they don't stop oftentimes and connect it with the factor of, for example, I'm feeling inadequate at work. I'm feeling bullied someplace. And that's triggering some of these senses of feeling worthless or not being worthy enough to have something better. It's playing into that. So I'm really glad you showed that connection between the other areas of our life, because we do, when we think of love, we get very locked into the relationship area and not the bigger picture of love a lot of times to look at. Now, Michelle has actually agreed to give us a sample of the ISIS activation of the healing heart, and I think this would be a good time to do that, Michelle, to allow you to go into that and provide that. I think it's going to be great to be able to experience this a little bit from you.
Okay, it would be my pleasure to do that. Just a couple of little things before I start. For people who are multitasking, please just give yourself this gift at the moment of pure and total focus on what you're about to receive, because that's an honouring of yourself. That's a gift of self-love for you. Anybody who suffers from grand mal epilepsy or any form of psychosis, it's probably not advisable to do this mini activation now. And the entire system is probably not advisable for you either if you have grand mal epilepsy or any form of psychosis. So I'm just putting that in there now. This activation that we're just about to do, it was something that ISIS gave me to do on teleseminars, radio interviews, telesummits, etc., because I don't know all the individuals in the audience. If I were to do the full ISIS activation, which of the healing heart, which takes about 40 minutes, it could be far too powerful for a lot of people on the call. It might push them into overload or into a bit of a healing crisis. So when I do live full ISIS activations, I only do them when I know who is on the call in advance, so I can monitor people coming through, and I know that they are, able to cope with that level of energy coming through. So this is definitely not the same as the full ISIS activation, but it's designed to give you a taste of really experiencing the ISIS energy and having your heart begin to really open and expand. And for many people will really have a very palpable experience of the divine while I'm doing this. Don't worry if you say, oh, well, I'm not good at meditation, I'm not going to be able to do this, or you've never even tried meditation. It doesn't matter. It's the power of the energy coming through that will be doing most of the work, because I don't want to be here in silence for the next 20 minutes while the energy is coming through and you're receiving it. We've actually got a guided visualization to take you through, but if you find that, there are parts that you can't do, or you find yourself going very deep and you're missing out on some of the words or whatever, don't worry. It's the power of the energy transmission that's coming through me rather than the words that I'm saying that are really important. So I think that's all I need to say for now. So just settling yourself down now, wherever you are, nice and cozily, closing your eyes, and begin to breathe nice and deep. And we're going to do a yogic kind of breath. So we're going to inhale deeply into the belly first, and continuing to the chest, filling the chest, and then the throat. And then as we exhale, it's the same order. So it's belly, chest, and then throat. And don't worry, we won't be doing this for too long, but it's a really good way to relax down quickly. So just doing a few cycles of this, inhaling deeply, belly, chest, throat, and then exhaling, belly, chest, throat. And while you're continuing to just breathe nice and deeply in that sequence, I'm calling in the energies of Isis and the higher realms. So I call forth the energies of the goddess Isis, universal mother goddess, moon goddess, goddess of compassion and love. I welcome you today and ask that you be present throughout this activation. And I call forth the highest vibration beings of light and love that want to assist in the process today. This may be other gods and goddesses from the Egyptian pantheon, such as Sekhmet, Anubis, or it may be Mother Mary, it may be other gods, goddesses, ascended masters. It will be whoever is most needed at this time, and I call forth my whole support crew from the higher realms, and I call forth everybody's whole support crew from the higher realms, everyone who's listening to this call, either live or replay. And I call forth all the angels who want to assist in the process today, and I particularly call forth Archangel Haniel at this time. She is also a moon goddess, so we're really bringing in the energies of the full moon. Now, you may like to place your hands over your heart, that's optional, and just directing the energy of the breath now into the heart. And you can breathe in whatever way is most comfortable to you. And on the out-breath, just directing the energy of the breath back into the heart. And feeling the relaxation starting through that body now. As you continue to relax the heart and relax the body, you may even feel slight tingling shifts of energy beginning to occur. It's safe now to just let go and relax, drifting deeper. And you begin to feel now a sense of drifting and floating and drifting, being lifted up on the gossamer wings of angels and being transported through time and space to an ancient holy temple. And this can be a temple of light that still exists in the ethers. And you feel yourself now flying, floating through this temple into the inner sanctum, the Holy of Holies. And as you fly through into this inner sanctum, you can see the tall stone columns just smelling that ancient stone smell. You can feel the warmth of the sun. And you can smell the purifying smell of frankincense wafting through the air, a sacred, holy aroma. And the divine feminine goddess Isis, with her outstretched wings, you may perceive them as gold or white. She's waiting for you with a look of infinite compassion and motherly love. If you are very aware psychically, you may even be able to see her with the solar disc on her head surrounded by the cow's horns, also a symbol of motherly nurturing. The angels and other high vibration beings of light and love are already gathered They're taking their places to assist in this ceremony. And maybe you can see them or get a sense of their presence, or maybe even feel that this inner sanctum, this Holy of Holies, is starting to feel quite crowded with all the loving presences there. And you're gently guided to lie on your back on a glowing, champagne-colored crystal bed in the center of the inner sanctum. And you might even see this, or sense this crystal bed is being made of pure rose quartz, beautiful pink color instead. And that's the crystal of unconditional love. And this sparkling crystal is smooth and a comfortable temperature to lie on. And underneath the crystal bed is an unseen energy source that is accentuating the healing power of the crystal. And you can start to feel the tingling of the energy in the back of your chakras or your energy centers. That's all along the back of your spine. And you may even be feeling this tingling all the way down the back of your legs and into your feet as well, maybe tingling right down into your toes and into your fingertips as well, all the way through your body. Know that whatever you are experiencing right now is the right experience for you. Once again, just focusing on directing the energy of the out-breath into the heart. The hands of Isis, represented as hands of light, are now gently massaging your heart to open it and help it release its emotional pain. And when I talk of heart, I'm not talking of the physical heart, although there may also be a feeling of being massaged there as well. But I'm talking of the heart center. Just feel that wonderful, nurturing feeling now. Or just having your heart center massaged by hands of light. And you may become aware of an infinity symbol. That's a figure 8 on its side, being drawn as light through that body several times and crossing over at the heart. Now a symbolic pale blue 7-petaled Egyptian lotus is being drawn by Isis above your heart. And it's being drawn with the stalk, the base of the lotus flower closest to your heart. And now just allow it to spiral down base first and sink deep into the heart chakra, still spiraling, just opening that heart energy center up really wide. And as this is happening, you're becoming more and more aware of the presence of the divine now accessing your heart. You may feel emotions starting to stir. And you may get a sense of this open heart center now sparkling with the pale blue energy of the divine feminine. And while this area is being worked on over the next couple of minutes or even longer, you may notice one or more of the following sensations. You might feel slight pressure in the heart center, or even mild thumping if it opens up really dramatically. You can feel tingles, maybe have the need to sigh deeply as energy is shifting. You might feel heat coming through this heart center as you receive the healing. You might feel long-held tears, long-suppressed tears just coming up to the surface. And if you feel them coming, just let them come. You might even be seeing colors now with your inner vision. As layers and layers of heartache and trauma are being cleared. Just becoming the fascinated observer to the process. And just becoming aware of the energy of healing hands either side of your head, just allowing you to drift deeper into receiving the healing. And even if you're not innately sensitive enough to feel the clearing taking place, rest assured the work is still being done at levels beyond your current conscious awareness. And if you're feeling any pressure or discomfort in the heart region while this process is taking place, it may represent resistance to letting go of the old that no longer serves you. So you can just repeat in your mind, it is safe to let it go, and I am safe. You don't need to know what it is. It's just stuff. And just give yourself permission to hand it over to the angels for transmutation to the light. And I'm now going to be silent now, holding the space while this deep clearing of the heart is taking place. And I'll come back with you in a couple of minutes. In the meantime, I may be silent, or if there's something of particular interest, I'll just let you know what I'm seeing as this work is being done. Not only is Isis working around the collective group heart, and this is the group heart for people listening to both the live call and the replay, there's a lot of angels like cherubs that are also working around this area quite busily. It's moving stuff around, shifting it, releasing stuff. In fact, they're very, very busily going right deep down into the heart. Sometimes when I do this work with people, the angels are very gentle in what they do. And other times they just go in, boots and all, just pulling out stuff, just getting rid of the old stuff. It's like, yeah, enough of this, let's just get rid of it. And today it's a going in boots and all kind of experience. Just seeing them now, just pulling out deeper and deeper stuff from the heart center, stuff that's no longer needed, just getting rid of it. You may be feeling this quite physically at the moment because the angels are being quite definite in what they're doing. Isis is now placing her hands, what would appear to be directly over your physical heart, to the point of almost touching your physical heart. So if you're feeling heat through your heart, if you're feeling slight pressure or any other sensations, or maybe even just overwhelming love, just be aware that Isis is holding your heart in pure love. And this process will continue after this call. I'm not going to ask that the angels stop doing what they're doing or that ISIS pull back from your heart or anything. This will continue even for the rest of this call, even later. This is a triggering to an even deeper clearing process within you. So just be aware that this is likely to continue over the next few days. So if you start to feel a lot of old emotions and stuff surfacing, just be the fascinated observer, be aware of them, and let them go. Know that it's just stuff that's clearing. So now the activation itself, this mini activation, is complete for the purpose of this call, but the healing will continue after this as well. I'm just asking the angels now to send to the light any energetic drops for immediate transmutation. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Isis now is placing her hands in a prayer position at the level of the third eye. And she is bowing in reverence before you. You are worthy of this. You are worthy of this love. Remember your worthiness. Thanking Isis now, the angels, and all the holy beings of light that have assisted us in the process today. We thank you all. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Isis starts to recede now into the background, as do all the other high vibration beings of light and love, gradually fading away. Now imagine that there are roots of energy, rather like tree roots, that are growing down from the soles of your feet deep down into Mother Earth. And you might see these like tree roots, or you might even see them as pure light energy flowing down into the earth, helping to ground you in your body in perfect vibrational alignment. It's in preparation for bringing you back to full waking consciousness now. And in a moment I'm going to count from 1 to 5. As that whole scene fades away, the healing will be continuing at a deeper subconscious level, but the actual scene will fade away. And by the time I get to the count of 5, you'll be back in the room that you started from, feeling full of energy, feeling fully in alignment in your body, feeling your heart open, vital, glowing with energy, vibrancy, glowing with light. 1, starting to feel the energy returning back up through the feet and the hands now. 2, more and more energy up through the arms and the legs, the scene in the temple now fading away. 3, feeling blood pressure, heart rate and pulse returning to a normal, healthy level for you. 4, getting closer to the surface, coming back into the room now. Eyes starting to open, and 5, eyes open, wide awake, feeling good, feeling fine, having a bit of a stretch and a wriggle around, wriggle those fingers and those toes, just move your arms and your legs just back in your body in full and perfect vibrational alignment. Okay, and just a little note, this is, as I mentioned, a trigger for deeper clearing and purification. Please drink extra water over the next few days. You may keep a journal of your experiences if you want to. If you have anything at all that you're not sure about, you want some clarification on, please just email me. And I'm happy, delighted to answer your email. And you can email me, probably the easiest is Michelle, that's MICHELLE, at angelwingshealing.com. So that's all one word, angelwingshealing.com. Okay.
Okay, and I'm typing that into the chat room as well, your email, angelwingshealing.com, for the people that are in chat or simply watching on the page here, so that they can see that. beautiful, exercise here to go through, beautiful experience. And I was sitting here and I was kind of like, okay, Jessie, don't get too far out there because you got to come back and do the show here.
I find that when I'm interviewing people.
Okay, when I listen to the archives, I can go totally into it.
Absolutely, yes. I have that experience when I'm interviewing people myself, and it's like, no, got to stay focused, can't drift too deep, because I find with me, because I do so much work in deep trance level, that I drop into trance very easily, so I could have zoned out totally and have no idea that, I'm actually supposed to be saying something again. So I do feel for you, Jessie. I've been there.
Yeah, and I have that tendency that when I really allow myself to sit back and receive, I really go way out there. So, yeah, I have to go back and listen to the archives so I can just totally receive and not worry about coming back and doing the show. With that, and I encourage if anybody jumped in while we're here, and I noticed somebody just kind of jumped into the room, and one of our regular listeners, and I was just letting her know, definitely, you got to go back and catch the archives so you can catch this experience here. For anybody that came into it, this was the ISIS activation of the healing heart. It was a kind of mini version that Michelle was leading us through on this. And Michelle, if we can, maybe there's something really quick. What is maybe one of the most powerful results that you've had or shift that you've seen somebody get from using this work, from using the ISIS Healing Love system?
Okay, I guess it comes into a few different categories. So, like, really common feedback that I get from people after either having the ISIS activation or doing the ISIS Healing of Love work with me is that, or using the system themselves, is that they feel their heart is far more open than it used to be, and that they're really easily able to let go of things that used to be locked away and painful. So they're not stuck. They have this feeling of just being able to let go of old stuff and move on. And because we've got full moon energies at the moment, now is absolutely the perfect time to be letting go of the old, outmoded, outdated, obsolete stuff from your life. That includes relationships, careers, homes, whatever. Just now is perfect energy to just be letting stuff go. People feel much more peaceful. They just feel in a really different, wonderful space, and there's this real sense of things lining up for them properly in their lives. So there's a lot more ease, grace, flow, divine synchronicities happening. Just, people coincidentally, in inverted commas, coming into your life, a chance phone call, a chance meeting, whatever, that are just the person that you need to connect with at that time, whether it's, your soulmate, the love of your life, or whether it's, perhaps a business opportunity or anything, maybe an opportunity to travel. Can be so many different things. So it's really a sense of it moves you to a high vibrational level and just frees you up in your life to move forward and experience new things and just live life at a higher vibrational level and at a much easier kind of level. It doesn't mean that you won't still be challenged on a higher vibrational level, but the challenges will be different. It gets you right away from that, woe is me, victim mentality, not feeling that you have any choice or ability to create your life. This is really shifting you right beyond that. So it's an amazing tool for just shifting you into a whole new space of living your life. And those are the most common kinds of feedback that I get from people. For me, I've found that like new doors just open right, left, and centre. It's like, whoa, okay, that was great. I was just in complete awe of how the divine sets things up for you when you're in that higher vibrational space, when you're in deeper connection with the divine. And this system does really help to strengthen, help to deepen, or even to, if you haven't felt a connection to the divine before, just really create that connection, create that sense of connectedness to something so much higher that is loving and supportive and on your side and will help you at every opportunity, especially when we can step out of our own way.
And I want to really reinforce that the next 2 weeks in particular are critical for us to let go of these blocks right now. We're headed into some astrological influences that are astronomical in their weight and things, and it is critical for us to clear out the fears, the hesitations, the doubts, all of these kind of garbage stuff. It's the internal house cleaning. I can't emphasize it enough right now, because we're headed into some very karmic influences with Saturn getting ready to go retrograde, and you want this stuff cleared before that happens. So if you need to get in here and listen to the archives every single day for the next 2 weeks to make that happen, do it, because you will be so much happier if you do. I guarantee it. You absolutely will. Michelle, we've got a few minutes here for you to tell us a little bit. You've got a special package offer for our listeners today, and I wanted to give you a little bit of time to share that and throw in any other event or something that you have going on that you want to share.
Okay, yeah, look, thank you so much, Jessie. Everything does seem to be beautiful synchronistic timing with, having this tool that gives you the ability to just let go, just really let go of a whole lot of stuff in a quantum shift. So everything is perfect timing, as it always is. So if you're ready to invest in your own personal and spiritual growth and attune to higher vibrational ways of self-healing than you've ever experienced before, you're really going to want to take a look at the in detail at this offer. Jessie will be telling you afterwards exactly where you can locate it on her website. If you're passionate about making rapid and lasting change in your life so you can experience more happiness, joy, and fulfillment, or even start to feel these things if you're not in that space at the moment, then I also invite you to take a look at this Isis Healing of Love special offer. It gives you extremely powerful and high vibration tools for working on yourself to rapidly transcend and dissolve old issues, thereby accelerating your personal and spiritual growth exponentially. And you can also use this healing system on other spiritually awake people for rapid results for them too. So if you're a healing practitioner, this can take your healing work with others to a whole new level. But you don't have to be a healing practitioner to use this system. It's great just for, working on yourself, for self-healing. And I've had a lot of success working one-on-one with Isis Healing and teaching physical Isis Healing workshops in Melbourne and overseas. And I'm really, really passionate about getting this online version of the Isis Healing of Love energy healing system out to people around the world, across the planet, in a really big way. So everyone can benefit regardless of where you're located in the world. And from working on myself, which I do pretty much I do the Isis Healing on myself probably each couple of days, and I also use the building my energy component of it before I start a healing session, whatever it is, with anyone. So I'm basically using Isis Healing every day. From working on myself and with clients, I know the huge transformational process of working with the energies of the empowered divine feminine. And I'm really, really, really keen to get this out there. So I'm offering the Isis Healing of Love system as a fully downloadable product at 40% off the normal price. So that makes it highly affordable, as you'll see when you click on the link, which Jessie will give you in a moment or so. And this special package includes the Isis Activation of the Healing Heart MP3. That's the the full, extremely powerful activation. It's about 40 minutes long. The ISIS self-healing technique for working on yourself. The ISIS Healing of Love audios. The two of those, the first one is how to build your own energy in preparation to give someone else an ISIS healing, and the other one is, logically enough, how to give someone else an ISIS healing. There's also a full ISIS Healing of Love manual. It's a 48-page manual in PDF form that's got all the diagrams, procedures, explanations. So no matter how you learn, whether you're an auditory or a visual learner or a spatial learner, you have something that you can see that will help you to learn this system easily. There's also 10 free transformational bonus gifts that I'm throwing in from some trusted colleagues of mine that you can have a look at on the offer page. So this complete ISIS Healing of Love package was $245, and you can find that on my website, still listed at $245 to the general public who are visiting my website. It's now only $147, so that's 40% savings. And when you think about it, at $147, that's less than the cost of a 1-hour healing session with even, an average, ordinary kind of healer these days or practitioner. So with this, you have the opportunity to use the system over and over, and you can continue to evolve and take your life to greater and greater heights of joy. And I know I've just, it's just exponentially catapulted where I am since I started using this. So, look, that's it in a nutshell. There's lots more info on the actual sales page. But I do want to mention, too, that for people who purchase the ISIS activation of the ISIS special offer package, you will also be invited to join the private Facebook page so you can share your experiences, ask questions and so on. So that's the ISIS Healing of Love page, but you will be invited to join that once you've made the purchase. And also, just something I'm throwing in just because I feel like it, for the first 10 people who purchase this special offer as a result of the call today, I would like to offer a totally free, no strings attached, complimentary 30-minute energy scan and mini healing session with me, and that's for the first 10 people who take up the offer and purchase it. You won't see that listed on the offer page, but obviously I see in my email inbox as people purchase, so I will be contacting you individually to let you know that you have 30 minutes of free healing time with me to be used in whatever way you want. So that's just something I felt like throwing in today, a special Valentine's Day treat. And finally, for people, maybe people would like to work with me but aren't quite feeling the draw to the ISIS healing work, you might like to take up the offer of working with me in 2 private sessions, which are heavily discounted at the moment, 24% discount off my normal rate, and that's also on the ISIS Healing of Love special offer page. You just need to scroll down a little bit. You can have that as a completely separate thing to the ISIS Healing of Love offer, or you might go and buy both. So choice is entirely yours. I think that's about it. Now, Jessie, over to you. Oh, and the other thing, too, for people who maybe want to just test the water a little bit with me, I'm also offering a free bonus audio, which is called Receiving Love. Sorry, it's been a long day. And you can receive... It has for you, Jessie. It's midnight, isn't it, where you are? But yeah, it's been a long day over this end as well. So you can also purchase that one. I'm just seeing where I put the link for that one. Please come to me quickly, link.
That's heal-the-healer.com/divine-love.
That's right. Yeah, just at the same time I found it. Thank you very much for that. So it's a very beautiful, beautiful receiving divine love guided meditation. Very strong presence of the divine on that. So you're most welcome to have that as a free getting to know me better kind of offer. I think that's it. So, Jessie, where is the magic place that you're putting the Isis Healing of Love special offer link?
Absolutely, and I typed that into our chat room, but for those that can't see the chat room here on Blog Talk, if you go to my website, JessieAnnNicholsGeorge1.com, and then go to products, and you'll see guest products there. So the link is JessieAnnNicholsGeorge1.com/guest space products .html. And that will get you directly onto that page. Just scroll down. You'll see the Isis Love Healing logo there, and just click on that. It will take you right into Michelle's work, right into her special package offer. And I also put the link in the chat room, for the free offer for the Receiving Divine Love Guided Meditation audio. And that, again, is heal-the-healer.com/divine-love on there. And, Michelle, I really want to thank you for sharing this beautiful experience with us and offering, really an incredible discount and the extra bonuses for the first 10 people. Again, the first 10 people that contact Michelle and take advantage of this, and she's got the extra 30-minute session there for you. But thank you so much for coming on the air tonight with me.
That's been an absolute pleasure, and I just love the timing of all of this. I think it will have stirred up some pretty special energy. Also, if people are interested to see visually just how powerful the Isis energy is as it comes through, have a look at the photo of me that was just snapped by someone on their iPhone while I was bringing forth the energies of the Divine Feminine during a full moon meditation in Bali. That photo you can see on my Angel Wings Healing website or on the Heal the Healer website on the home page. It's not perhaps a great quality photo, but you can see this huge white light aura around me. And what's even more amazing, you can see there's a huge white light aura that's intersecting it from the top as well. And that was taken at the time I was calling forth the goddess Isis and the angels during a full moon meditation. So, yeah, it's pretty special.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Well, thank you very, very much for your time. And I do want to mention next week here on the show, I have Darcy Cleome from the Amethyst Healing Center in Cambria, California, on the show. And she's going to be discussing her work in different healing modalities, her near-death experience. We're going to be talking about how to release things and letting go of things at that time. So really following right in this cycle of time and influences where it's very, very important. My books on relationships are also out, and you can find the links and check those out and purchase them through my website as well as other things. I just put out a brand new video today, a video tip today, and all of those things you can check out on my website at JessieAnnNicholsGeorge1.com. Also, I've got several events for 2014, which I've released, and you can learn more about those events at JessieAnnNicholsGeorge.eventbrite.com. And amazing events going on that are aligned with the seasons and the astrological influences and the moon cycles and the planetary influences and the whole works. And I encourage you to check those out. Those are going to be happening in the southern Utah area. And the first one is coming up here on the spring equinox time frame. So that's going to be very, very exciting for you to take advantage of. And February's special deal that I have going on right now is you can try out my brand new work in Angel Insights and Healing, so kind of following on along the theme of what Michelle is doing as well. And this is going to be wonderful for helping you identify and get clarity on what you need to be doing, how to get focused, what to focus on, handling challenges that are happening, making changes, overcoming physical difficulties. So it's kind of moving beyond what's heavy and pleasant and comfortable in our lives. And, our angels are there. They want to help us. That's what they're there for, to help us with what we're dealing with on this earthly plane. And these challenges, whether you're dealing with challenges or whether you're just wanting some extra support and everything, moving through things, those are really a great option and a great reading format that I do with this. So it's really about getting some extra clarity. So it kind of goes hand in hand with Michelle's work. She does a lot of that clearing aspect, and then I can also help you get the clarity on what direction to move forward in and where your forces and your energy is aligned right now for moving forward and where to focus that on. Don't forget that we've got several shows right here on Main Street Universe throughout the week. Sunday nights we have Darren Bouquet, who's a reader at Madame Laveau in New Orleans, doing spiritual insights. Monday nights we have Randy Goldberg, and he is doing Vedic astrology with us. Tuesdays we have Susan Weedon, who's sharing her work in herbs and natural plants. Wednesday is our flagship show, and Daniel, Janice, and Brett are on that show. Sometimes they've got guests on. Sometimes they're discussing different topics that are happening on the air. Thursdays, we have Queen Mother Omaku, who looks at Egyptian culture. Fridays is kind of when Kevin's been coming on early in the day, early in the morning hours, working with his Horizon Oracle Journeys deck. So you have to kind of watch. Sometimes he's on Mondays, sometimes on Fridays right now. But you can learn more about that deck. He created it, and his work is there at templeofgaia.com. And, of course, Friday nights, we've got Activating Compassion in the midnight hour right here. So that's a big aspect as well. This is Jessie Ann Nichols George, and I want to thank everybody for being here tonight. And again, thank you to all of our listeners, not only on Blog Talk Radio, but also those streaming live on PEN, or known as Para Encounters Network, Streamfinder, and TalkStream Live, as well as those that are catching our podcast at iTunes, TuneIn.com, and also those that are catching the YouTube version of the show. And definitely a special thanks for tonight's sponsor, Earth Goddess Rising, and stay tuned for that third tip that's coming up from the Earth Goddess Rising event. And I look forward to seeing everybody back here next week as we delve more into activating compassion. Now, don't forget, if you've enjoyed the show this evening, share it with others. Michelle offered a beautiful exercise and beautiful work, and if you missed any part of that, please go back and listen to it in the archives, because you're really going to enjoy the way that lightens up your energy, opens you up, and brings in full circle this releasing and clearing that's going on. And it's just such beautiful work that she's doing there with that. So I definitely encourage you to share it, and they can catch it at the same link in our archives, or they can go onto my website, go on to Jessie Ann Nichols George, the1.com, go on to my tab on the Main Street Universe tab there, and you're going to find the page right there. And I'm going to be leaving you with the song tonight, Yearning For, also known as Over and Over by Shemshai. Thank you so much. I look forward to seeing you again next week right here on Activating Compassion in the Midnight Hour. May you enjoy the rest of your weekend and have an amazing week. Our third tip on honoring your spiritual path is remembering the sacredness and necessity of fun, play, and activity. Spiritual development is not just about learning lessons and listening to people speak. It is about clearing, healing, and releasing, nourishing, inspiring, embracing, and embodying experiences. It integrates body, mind, and spirit. At Earth Goddess Rising, we start the day with yoga and meditation and include other activities and mineral springs, along with listening to presenters and participating in workshops. Find out more about what is happening during this weekend of body, mind, and spirit indulgence at www.earthgoddessrising.com. Hi, today we are looking at 3 ways.
And if I could see what makes me blind, I would soar to the edge of my mind, and to touch what seems unreal, just to show you the way that I feel. And we are in time with time, one with the season of change inside. And we are in tune with the tune, caught in a balance of sun and moon. we'll soar to the edge of eternity, and we see it eye to eye, one within love to be for the divine, and we're walking hand in hand, caught in the balance of God and man. Over and over, life is your lover, learning to walk just a little bit slower, whispering secrets, I bet you can't keep it, no turning back now, this time we reveal it, one to another, all will discover the essence within the most beautiful lover. Time is still turning, the love is still burning, deep in your spirit, your heart still yearning for. Yearning for. Over and over, life is your lover,